If you're here because you're interested in that cure, that magic cure for being in a rut, I might just have the answer for you. My name is Kevin Johnson, and I am the CEO of Leverage Consulting, as well as the creator of Leverage U, an online university. So many of you might be thinking, okay, I'm in a rut. I'm bored. And the rut might be manifested in many different ways. It could be that you do feel like you're in a rut. It's just, I can't get out of this thing. It might be a funk. It might be something where you just feel like no matter what I do, it's the same thing every day. And you might also feel like there's just no progress around here. We can't seem to get ahead. Well, that could be different ways of looking at being in a rut or feeling like you are in a rut. And wouldn't it be awesome if you could just take a magic pill and make it all go away? Well, I can tell you in the 23 years I've been doing coaching and consulting, even prior to that, I've watched people, I've watched business, and I've always been interested in the changes that they make and the progress that they make. But I can guarantee you, every human being on the face of this earth, they go through these stages of feeling like they are in a rut. Everybody does it. If they say they don't, they lie. I hate to tell you, they lie. Everybody feels like I've felt like that before. And it's funny because oftentimes when I feel like I come out of that rut, it's when I'm the most energized. I had a period of time about 6 to 9 months ago, I felt like I was in a rut. And interestingly enough, I did some things and it turned things around. And it's the way I felt like I was in a rut where maybe things weren't changing. When I came out of it, I felt like I was 200% of the person I was normally, not even when I was in the rut, but 200% of what I was in the like normal sense of things. So it wasn't done with a pill, had nothing to do with that. But interestingly enough, when you think about, wouldn't it again be nice just to take a magic pill? Even with that, think about it. If you went to the doctor and they gave you an antibiotic, you have to be consistent with taking that pill once or twice a day. You have to be consistent with taking it for 5 days, 10 days, 14 days, maybe longer. There might be other kinds of pills that if it's for blood pressure or something else, you still need to be consistent. So when you really think about how do I get out of this rut, and no, there's no magic pill, there isn't, but I do have something that could be as simple. It could be as simple as taking the pill. And that is, you need to move the goalpost. Oftentimes we feel like we're in this rut because we're still fixated and focused on the same things we've always been doing. We're fixated and focused on the immediate future. And we're looking for things that we might be fixated on problems. And if you stay fixated on problems, and it's what I oftentimes refer to with clients, that they're just focused on being a firefighter. And you can be in firefighter mode periodically or intermittently, but you can't live there. If you live in that world, I guarantee you will stay in that rut. But if you find yourself in a way, or find a way to stop being a firefighter and stop fixating on the problems and start fixating on the things that are out in the future, you'll get out of the rut. And that's why I come back to, you have to move the goalpost. So moving the goalpost might mean you're going to completely change the way you look at production, and it has to be a much higher number. You might change what you expect from your team. You might say, you know what, no matter what, I'm out of here at 6 p.m. or 5:30 or 5. You might say, I'm out of here. I am not working these kinds of hours any longer. You move the goalpost. And when you do that, you force yourself to think of things differently. You force your team to start seeing and looking at things differently. And when you hyper focus on those things, which are in the future, the things in the immediate, right, the here and now, become far more insignificant. Sounds like an oxymoron, right? But they become more insignificant. And when you think about moving that goalpost, you fixate on a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and you're less concerned about a team member complaint. You're less concerned about a patient complaint. You're less concerned about, the power bill went up or something like that. And rather than hyper focusing on something like that, I'm going to hyper focus on the fact that I'm going to leave this practice by 5 p.m. every day. And what it is could be different for you, but in a sense, what it is you need new problems to solve. You cannot continue to work on the same old problems and be fulfilled. You can't do it. It becomes old, and that's where you get that feeling of being in a rut. I'm doing the same thing over and over. It's like you come to the practice, you put your key in the door, you open it up, and it's like you step right on that treadmill and you do the same exact thing you did yesterday. And then when the day is over, you step off the treadmill and you lock the door and you walk away, and you come back again and do it all over again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So when you think about getting out of that rut and figuring out how to do it, you move the goalposts, which in a sense gives you new problems to solve, and they're good problems. They're absolutely good problems. It's like when people lose weight and lose significant weight, I have this new problem. I need new clothes. And that's a good problem to have. It's a good problem because now I can go out and it's like, you know what? I'm going to go buy my skinny clothes, which is awesome. It gives you that new problem. And with that new problem, it gives you new energy. And again, this kind of energy is what pulls you out of the rut. This is what a lot of people, and oftentimes people will sit in that rut and we fixate on the rut itself, as opposed to the new goalpost, the new milestone, the new energy that we draw from it, and the new problems that we have to solve. And when we fixate on those things, it just compounds itself. So when you find yourself in that place where you are stuck in the rut, it seems like the same old every day. You need to move that goalpost. You need to find out what those new problems are. Because again, when you think about I am leaving this office by 5. And I use this as an example because sometimes many of you work too much in the office. You shouldn't be working as much as you are. When you say I'm leaving by 5, I'm turning it off. I'm not thinking about this practice again after I leave today. Quality of life. You have to, it presents itself a new problem, and it's a good problem because now I am going to do things in such a way that it creates time for me to spend time with my kids, my spouse. I'm going to go spend time on my hobbies. I'm going to go do all these other things as opposed to just work all day, every day. That's burnout. So in doing this, we focus on these new problems to solve, which gives you that new energy. And when you feel that accomplishment with these things, the little problems that you were fixating on before become like this big. And when they're that big, then you look at big problems as being no problem. Think about it. And this is one of those exercises that you could literally go through. Depending on the amount of progress that you make, you could revisit this exercise every 3, 6, or 12 months. And not that you have to do it at those intervals, but depending on the progress, you could redo this every 3 months. You could do this every 6 months. You could do this every 12 months. But in doing this, you will continually elevate yourself. And imagine, there are people out there that write about 4-hour work weeks, and they will write about, there are some practitioners that only work 2 days a week. Some of them work abbreviated weeks where maybe it's, 2.5 days, 3 days, something like that. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. It's a matter of what you value most and you creating your own future. So when you feel like you're in a rut, move the goalpost. If you like content like this and you want to hear more like this, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that notification button because I am making more videos for you every week.